So recently I've been watching a lot of iRacing on Twitch, and one question that I keep on seeing popping up in people's chats are what is the P license and what is the WC license? Now, as a former WC license holder, I thought, why not make a video on it and explain to people exactly what these licenses are, how they're earned, and what they actually mean. So the P license is classed as a pro license, and if you're watching someone who has caps, or even if you look at their account on iRacing, it will show as purple. And the WC is a World Championship license, which typically shows up as a black license. Now, these two licenses are exclusive and are reserved for drivers who are competing in an iRacing Pro Series or a World Championship Series. So, like your Porsche Contenders and your NASCAR B-Class Series, or your Xfinity Series would be classed as a Pro Series, or it used to be back in the day. And your WC license is reserved for your Porsche Super Cups, the iRacing IndyCar Series, the NASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series, and of course you've got your Dirt Oval and Dirt Road Series as well, so your World of Outlaws on Dirt Oval and then the Pro 4 trucks on Dirt Road. They are both earned through a Pro Qualification Series, which will then gain you access to a World Championship Series, which are ran through iRacing leagues and are strictly invite only. So if you go into the iRacing Series lists and you go scrolling through, you will not see the iRacing Pro Series or the iRacing World Championship Series in there. They simply do not exist to the general public. They are invite-only private leagues that you have to be invited to. The Pro license acts as an intermediate license between the A-Class and the World Championship license, so it's used for independent Pro Series like the former Porsche Contender Series, which they used to run a few years ago, and of course, as I mentioned before, the Coca-Cola B-Class Xfinity Series. If this Pro Series has 40 car grids, typically the top 20 would then earn a World Championship license and the bottom 20 would then move back down to A, so that is the general formula that they had for using this P license. Now, it's a little bit more defunct nowadays and you won't really see too many people with one. Typically it's only designed as an intermediate license, so people don't carry a P license all year round like they do an A-Class or a World Championship. Traditionally they will only have it for a 2 or 3 month period as long as that Pro qualifier is running, and then you either move up to World Championship by finishing in the top 20 in the Pro Qualification Series, or you will move back down to A-Class if you fail to finish in the top 20. So the first question I guess we have is how do I actually get one? So this license, as I mentioned, is sort of defunct now and you don't really see too many people with them as iRacing have evolved their pro ladder over the years, but the P license was typically earned through a Pro Qualification Series. Traditionally the top 20 would earn you a Pro license. Of course that is dependent on the Pro Qualification format, but it is usually a separate series that is open to anyone with an A license and works the same as any regular series in iRacing. So you have your multiple splits, which are determined by iRating, and you can fully expect these top split SOFs to be pushing well over 9,000 just as an average. So if you want to earn one of these P licenses, you really do need to have enough iRating to be in the top 2 splits, because the way that the championship points are calculated, again as I mentioned before, is the same as any other series on iRacing. So the higher the strength of field, the more points will be awarded for winning the race. Now, these licenses exist within the safety rating system. They're always there in the background. You just simply have to unlock one through, as I mentioned, finishing top 20 or whatever the stipulation may be. It has to be top 20 for example, in the Contender Series, and you will be eligible to get, if you finish top 20 in the A-Class Pro Qualification Series, then you will become eligible to get a Pro license. And as I say, if you have an A-Class license, then you automatically go to the Pro license. As I say, it exists just like any other license. You just simply have to be whitelisted to access one. So the next question we have is, can I lose a Pro license? And the answer is yes. The Pro license works just like any other license in the game. If you drop below 1.0 safety rating, you will drop back to an A-Class. Now, of course, you can earn it back by getting your A-Class over 4.0, and you'll automatically get it back due to being on that whitelist. Now, can anyone earn a Pro license? Now, providing that you complete the objectives that I mentioned before, so finishing top 20 in an A-Class Pro Qualification Series, then yeah, you can get one. However, they do come with a bit of a prerequisite. Now, earning any Pro license requires you to have a good history on iRacing. So if you're someone who has several bans to their name, for reckless driving, intent wrecking, or even repeated voice and text chat bans, you can then go through that whole process, finish top 20, think, yes, I've got my pro license, and then iRacing turn around and say, you're not going to get one because we don't deem that your previous behaviour is acceptable, and we don't want you to hold a pro license. You can still get one. It's just going to be a little bit harder, and you might need to do a little bit of smooching. Now, this is something that I have seen several times in the past, where there's guys who, you know, have got 9,000, 10,000 iRating, have won countless races in the pro qualification series, and it gets to the point where you're going to get awarded the license and they don't get one. And it's simply because the pro and world championship licenses are held to a higher standard than the rest of the service. Of course, the way that iRacing look at it is, if you've got a pro or world championship license, you are the face of iRacing esports. You're the one that's going on broadcast, you're the one that's being interviewed. If you have a bad history and people know that, then you're not going to be a very good ambassador for the sim. So you need to make sure that, yeah, you are putting yourself in a good light, and you don't give iRacing any reason to not give you one, or alternatively take one away. The next question we have is, can I reject a pro or world championship license? And yeah, of course you can. As I say, when you go through the pro qualification series, the A-class series, anyone's welcome to race in it. You know, you could maybe sign up to that series thinking, I just want to race this every week for some higher level competition, maybe gain a bit of iRating, and just try something new. And if you find at the end that you're in the top 20, or you get an email from iRacing saying that you've been invited to the pro series, you're absolutely entitled to turn around and say, sorry, I don't want to accept it. There is absolutely no obligation for you to take that license at the end of it. If someone denies the license, or alternatively is rejected, then it does then go to the next person down in points. So in the past, there have been cases where drivers who have qualified 30th in the pro qualification series have actually received a pro license due to 10 or more people saying no or being rejected. So the last question we really have is how does the World Championship license work? Of course, we've talked mostly about the pro license, but to be honest, the World Championship license is exactly the same. It is an exclusive license that is awarded to drivers who have completed the necessary steps to get into a World Championship series, and that's all the World Championship license is actually for. The only main differences between the World Championship and the Pro license is really the corners per incident calculation. So if you have one of these World Championship licenses, all of a sudden official races start to become a little bit more intimidating, because the corners per incident calculation is so harsh and you're held to such a high standard. You can easily lose it just from racing officials. So if you have a World Championship license, but you're like, I need to grind a little bit of iRating, I need to get to 10k or 11k to be able to make top split for the special event, all of a sudden you go from not really caring about safety rating when you're at A class to actually having to watch your iRating and your safety rating. And with that is basically the long and short of what the Pro and World Championship licenses are. So next time you're watching a Twitch stream and you see someone with a license like that, just know they will be watching their incident counts. You know, it's a pretty cool moment. I remember the first time that I saw one and I was like, wow, I didn't even know this license existed. And yeah, it is absolutely possible though for anyone to earn one of these licenses. You just need to put in enough work, have the talent, have the time put into it, and as I say, if you follow the steps that I've talked about previously, then you can absolutely earn one. And with that, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any more questions about how a World Championship license or a Pro license works in the comments below, please drop it down there and I'll make sure to get back to you and answer that. But yeah, thank you so much for your time, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.